was a small one. The first one was burned down. Then they built a second one in the mid of the 5th century. The second one continued until 532. You remember the Nike revolt with Theodora and me. Then after we finished the revolt, we wanted to build the biggest church in the world. So we started with the construction in the year 532. It was finished in 5 years only. 1,500 years ago, only in 5 years this was finished, 537. 10,000 people worked in the construction, 100 architects and 2 master architects, Antemius and Isidoris. They were like Greek origin architects. And then it started to serve as a church. Until when, by the way, in those days, they didn't have bell towers. In the Christian churches, they didn't have bell towers at that time. Then it continued to be a church until 1453. What happened in 1453? Fatih Sultan Mehmet, the conqueror Mehmet, came to Istanbul. And the first thing he wanted to see that church, because everyone was talking about the biggest building on earth. So he came here and he prayed here. After his prayer, he gave the order to convert it into a mosque. What they did was they covered the mosaics, like we see some pictures of the mosaics already, with some plasters, because of the reason of you cannot bow in front of any human being or picture. So then it was served. Then they added first 1 minute, then 3 more later on. It was added. Then until 1934, it was a mosque. What happened in 1934? In 1934, with the letter that passed through the parliament, it was converted into a museum. But why? In those days, we were already for 10 years a democratic republic. And in a democratic republic, different than today, you could express your ideas. So Christians in the city, they said, we want to pray here. This was originally a church, not a mosque. When the Muslims do it, we should be able to do it as well. So the discussion continued in the media, and then Mustafa Kemal Atatürk heard that. He said, stop that discussion. This is a very historical building. You don't need that particular building to use as a sanctuary place. Why don't we make it a museum? So he was right. Today we have 157 churches in Istanbul, mainly Orthodox churches, 17 synagogues, 10 monasteries. So it's rich of everything. And to be honest, we are the head of the Greek Orthodox Church. Is here in Istanbul. Do you know what that means? That means whatever Rome or Vatican is for the Catholic world, was or is Istanbul for the Orthodox world. Together with the Moscow Greek Moscow Orthodox Church, they are similar level. I mean, as an Orthodox church. Then they opened up all those mosaics. Now inside you will see 2 religions living peacefully together, and most of the material here is recycled material. So that's why you will see like 60 different types of marble they use from Baalbek, from Syria, from temples, from Anatolia. They brought it here. Now you can see already here on the top the first mosaics which was opened up. This is the imperial gate. That's the gate where the emperor would walk into the church. And in front of that, above that gate, you see Jesus Christ sitting on the throne. He's holding the Holy Bible in his hand, and it says, I am the light of the world. To the right, we have Archangel Gabriel. To the left, we have Mother Mary. And in front of them, Leon VI, one of the emperors from the 11th century, is going down. As I told you, the material is all recycled. You see it from how they slice the marbles. From outside, it does not look very impressive, this church, to be honest. But now we will enter inside. Now you will see the difference. First, you're inside. Now you are in a building which was built 1,500 years ago, 15 centuries ago, only in 5 years. Consider this like to make it today. It will probably last as long as at that time. And this could be easily one of the 7 world wonders. Should be actually one of the 7 world wonders, but it is not, unfortunately. But instead, we have something from the 7 world wonders. So, like the Halikarnassos Mausoleum in the British Museum in London, we have here these columns coming from Selçuk, from Izmir. These were from the Artemision Temple. So these are like some columns from one of the 7 world wonders actually. They brought it here. On the capitals, there's like small circles. In the circles, you can see the initials of Justinian and Theodora to show their love. to show our love, we did it. You remember? This is like 55 meters until the dome, and 55 meters is quite huge. Today, still, if you consider this place as a church, it would be still one of the biggest at the height, and as the diameter is 33. And something very interesting, the Islamic world learned from this church to build mosques with one dome. Until that time, they didn't know the technical knowledge of that, so they studied always here, how they managed it, so they learned it from here. Before that, like in the Seljuk times, they used to have small domes like all over. And the name of this church is Hagia Sophia. Hagia means divine, the holy. Sophia, wisdom, knowledge, the holy knowledge. And Turks also implemented the same name, Hagia Sophia. It's actually not dedicated to any saint, actually, Hagia Sophia. And I have seen this place only one time in my whole life since my childhood. As a child, they used to bring us here to the schools, 40 years ago maybe. Only 2010, when we were the cultural capital of Europe, they put the scaffolding off. But other than this, there's always a scaffolding end somewhere at the corner. Now they're restoring that part. We have, for example, those seraphims. These are like angels at the corners, pendentives. These are angels with 6 wings. They accompany people to the paradise. The face is very close, like this. And only this face on the left corner, they opened up, but we can't see because of the scaffolding. Then we have Jesus Christ and Mother Mary over there, above the axis. And all the churches at that time, they were facing east churches. And where do the mosques face? Southeast from here on. They have to face to Mecca. You can see that shifting from the, if you look through the stained glass window, come down, you will see like a marble gate. This gate symbolizes Mecca. It is facing towards Mecca, which is 10 degrees to the right. You see, it's shifted to the right. Yeah, and that's all. It was so easy to convert them into mosques. And vice versa was done in Andalusia, like in Cordoba and in some other places. They changed the mosques to churches. Then we have those big plaques. They were added by the Islamic period, I think on the 17th century. And this says Allah, the big one on the right side. Then Prophet Muhammad. And then the names of the 4 caliphs, Abu Bakr, Osman, Umar and Ali. Plus they have 2 more here. This is Hassan and Hussein. Hassan and Hussein are the sons of Ali, and Ali was married to the daughter of Prophet Muhammad, actually. They have like such a relationship. And as I told you, caliphs are same things like the apostles. Later on, like the Pope today, Caliphatism became a title. And who took this title? The ruler of the most powerful Islamic country took the title as a caliph. And after some time, the Ottoman sultans, with the father of Suleiman the Magnificent, we took it over. The Ottomans took it over. From that time on, every sultan became automatically caliph. That means when the Ottomans went to fight, they fought not only for the Ottomans, they fought also for Islam. That's the reason they got lots of big support from the Islamic world. That's probably one of the reasons they were successful for a long time. But later on, as I told you, after Mustafa Kemal Atatürk established the republic, he also stopped the caliphatism. He said, we don't need that title anymore. It doesn't give good to us, it doesn't make good to us. So he stopped it. And afterwards, some people in the world acted like they wanted to become a caliph or like a caliph. I can recall just one name, Libyan leader Gaddafi, for example. Khomeini wanted to, I think also, like Gaddafi, remember they were making like religious meetings in the tents and things like this. He was like, then a clown came up from ISIS. He said, I am the Caliph Baghdadi or whatever his name is. Anyhow, so we don't have the title anymore. But there's something very important, as I told you, Orthodox Church was here and their seat was here actually. The Orthodox Patriarch was sitting here. And after the conquest, Fatih Sultan Mehmed, he has allowed the Patriarch to stay here and continue. So today, it is still the Orthodox Greek Church center is here. At the Golden Horn, we have the church now. He could not stay here, but they made another church for them to continue their religion. So this is interesting. And I mean, we are a country really which respects all the religions. But as I told you, sometimes some short periods in the history makes changes for some time, but in generally we were like this. St. Peter is higher, St. Paul is higher than this one, and Duomo in Florence today, if you consider. He asked for help to Vatican, to Venice, to Rome. Said, can you help us? You are Christians, we are Christians. The Arabs are in front of the gates, they want to conquer the city, we need your help. At that time they were preparing the fourth crusade. The aim of the fourth crusade was to go to Jerusalem and to rescue Jerusalem from Salatin Ayyub and their troops. What happened was, they said, okay, it's geographically on the way, we can pass through Constantinople and then go to Egypt and then to Jerusalem. We can help you. You know what happened? In the year 1204, when they came here, they walked in and they said, wow, it was the most beautiful city in the world. It was like London, Paris, Berlin, New York City. It was the richest city in the world. They stayed here. They stayed here and they plundered the city. That's the time where they took those 4 horses, for example, from the Hippodrome. It was at the entrance of the Hippodrome, those 4 horses. Now it's in front of the St. Mark's Cathedral. The originals are in the museum, but now they have also replicas there. And Henry Dondola was the person who made them, to trigger the people to come here, to stay here. And he is buried here upstairs. So it's also in Dan Brown's book, it's talking about him. Henry Dondola, his graveyard is over there, I mean the gravestone. So this is one of the stories. And then the Byzantine emperor who asked for help had to flee out. For 57 years, this was ruled by the Latins here. 57 years later, the grandson of that emperor could come back from the Black Sea region, because they had to continue there, and reconquer it. So, but that made the Byzantines very weak at that time. Then 1453, the Ottomans could come in.
And there's a cat here. Do you remember that cat? The very famous cat around the woods. Maybe you can mention that as well.
Actually,
is he still alive? I don't know. There's one cat here. Never get out from here.
Obama cuddled. Is that the cat you're talking? The black cat.
Yeah.
Actually, I was the next day here when Obama came here. He with Erdogan, together with the Turkish president, they made a visit here, and he cuddled the cat. Next day I was here, and then some American tourists said, I finished the tour like him, like he said. They said, where is the cat? And I could not remember. I thought maybe there was some cat somewhere. Maybe I missed it. Maybe they found something near, you know, on the walls. And then they said the cat that Obama cuddled. And actually, there's spots in front of the spots. Sometimes the cats are, but this cat is long time dead. A professor from Denmark, he came here to visit several years ago, and at once he saw a graffiti. But in the world, there are only a few people who can read this sign. Because old Viking writing. So he could read it at once. Havden or something was written. Havden was here. And then at once he was shocked. So then this shows also that the Vikings were here working for the Byzantines, because the Vikings were, I think, 2 tribes. I mean, they were Varyans and Normans. One was like the fighting ones, like the Ruriks. They even made Russia. You know, these were the trade makers, and the other ones who invaded Britain, these were the Normans. But Varyans were here, I think. The ones who were with trades, they were working for you. So that's.
And they have graffiti